Hey, what up, world? It's your boy Chris Lee, aka Toonie, represents San Antonio, singer, songwriter, producer, audio engineer, owner of United Destiny Entertainment Productions. Check this out. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Still kind of sick, so I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I feel is real important and beneficial to a lot of you artists, engineers, producers, whatever you want to call yourself. All right, check this out. A lot of you artists, this really pinpoints to you, it's very beneficial to you. A lot of you artists like to go to SoundClick and download a lot of these MP3 files, which ain't no problem with that. The problem that you run into is a lot of these beats are low quality MP3s or lossy formats, which means that a lot of the high frequencies and dynamic range of those beats gets cut down and gets cut out because of the format that is being put into. It's getting compressed so small into a small file that all those high frequencies that make the beat that brings out the clarity and the highs gets cut out because you're making this file so small. Let me talk to you why that is a problem. The reason why that's a problem is a lot of you artists like to make hits or write good songs or whatever you want to do, and you take it into Pro Tools, and when you upload it into Pro Tools and you about to record it, you record a great song, good vocals, but the song don't sound as good as it could potentially sound because of the simple fact that you uploaded an MP3 inside of Pro Tools and you recorded over an MP3 instead of doing a proper procedure, as in going to the producer, buying the beat exclusively, getting high quality wave files of each instrument, dropping inside of Pro Tools, and then recording over it. Now, the reason why this is so important, the reason why this is key, when you import a beat, say one wave file, MP3 file, whatever that may be, you're uploading one single file. All right. The problem where that comes in is that when you upload that one file, that beat is already either mixed and compressed, with all kind of effects on it, whatever it may be, and you cannot change it. You cannot get in there and cut certain frequencies that might be, fighting with each other. You can't cut and boost frequencies to create some space. Anything you pretty much do with that track, you got to do it to that track as a whole. So if you wanted to compress something on the track, you would compress the whole track. If you wanted to EQ something in the track, you would EQ the whole entire track. That's a problem because when it's time for you to record vocals, what I know in my experience is that every artist that I record, even for my own beats and my own material, I noticed that when I bounce down high quality wave files, individuals, bounce them into Pro Tools, and then record the vocals, I'm able to mix the vocals and the instruments all together as a whole to get the best quality I can out of any of my recordings. It's very effective. Matter of fact, everybody should be doing that because that's the proper way to do it. A lot of people don't do it because a lot of people either don't know, or it's not convenient enough for them, or they're just too lazy. But importing an MP3, a lossy format MP3, then recording vocals over it, the problem is we have different frequencies between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz is what humans can hear real well. The problem with that is that, say for low end, if you have low end and you have low end bass in your song, and then you got like a artist with real deep voice, his lows hit somewhere under, 80, between 80 and 100 hertz, and you got low end hitting somewhere in the same area. The thing about that is those frequencies will conflict with each other because they're both low end frequencies. Now I'm trying to break this down so you guys are able to understand it. A lot of technical people, audio engineers, professional audio engineers like me, know where I'm going with this. All right, say for instance, if you have a lot of highs, or say hi-hats in your beat, and then somebody go in and got some high sounding guitars, the thing with those frequencies is they're around the same frequency range and they're conflicting with each other. And the reason, if they're conflicting with each other, 9 times out of 10, they're causing distortion or they're causing clipping or something like that. So you want to be able to boost certain things and you want to be able to cut certain things at certain frequencies to be able to create some space. Now I'm going to go a little deeper than that. Check this out. With vocals usually sit somewhere in the mid-range between, I would say, 350 hertz to I don't know, 5K or something like that. Or maybe even less than that, 1K, 1000 kilohertz. The thing with that is that if you have anything in the mid-range from your beat, your instrumental, whatever that may be, if anything is hitting in those same frequencies as your vocals, then they're going to conflict with each other. So 9 times out of 10, they're going to cause distortion or clipping because they're hitting in the same frequency range, and that's not what you want. You want to be able to take one of those, either your vocals or those instruments, and if they're around the same frequency range, then you want to be able to take one of them, leave them at a certain frequency range, and then take the other one, the opposite of that frequency range, and you want to cut it to be able to create some space between the instruments and those vocals to be able to prevent distortion and clipping, and obviously be able to hear the difference between the vocals and the instruments spaced out to where stuff don't sound like it's cluttered or, clashing together. I hope telling you guys that really kind of like opened up your eyes a little bit to be able to kind of explain to you why it's important for you guys to record in Pro Tools or any program that you have with high quality wave files, individuals, because you can mix those vocals and the instruments together, cut and boost whatever you need to cut, create space, and when you finally do your final mix, and balancing, panning, effects, whatever you need to do, the track will sound more professional, it'll sound more balanced, and it'll have more space in it. And that's what you want. It'll give it a nice stereo image. Where a lot of people go wrong is they don't like to do that because it's too much work for them, or they don't know how. Or like I said before, they're just too lazy. So they will go download a low quality MP3, which is already hurting you bad enough because you're not getting a high dynamic range of frequency response out of the beat like you're supposed to. The second problem with it is that it's one wave file. So anything that you cut and boost, you're doing it into the entire beat, which is not smart in the first place. Then that's why a lot of you people wonder why your quality is not turning out good in these tracks. So my advice to you guys, with that being said, is don't just go to SoundClick and download these free beats. Like if you want to download the free beats just to get the track done, get the idea done, that's cool. But if you really care about your craft and care about perfecting your work, then the smartest thing for you to do is go to those producers and say, hey, I want to go ahead and pay you $300, however much money it may be, to go ahead and purchase the exclusive, which is the high quality wave files broken down to individual tracks, so you're able to drop them in your DAW and mix them and master them. Now, my biggest thing about that is that a lot of the clients that I get, and including my own material, I like to go in and do exactly that. I like to take my high quality wave files, drop them in Pro Tools, mix my vocals, record my vocals in the Pro Tools, and mix everything as a whole. Once I'm done doing the final mix, getting ready for the mastering and everything's balanced, the track sounds so pro before I even master it. Before I even get the track mastered, it sounds so pro. There's been a lot of instances where, for promotional uses, I would go to SoundClick and download a lot of good, free beats from good friends and good producers, O'Brien Beats and J Rum and Superstar and all these other good SoundClick producers, and I will record a song just for promotional uses. But the songs will sound good, granted, the songs will sound good, but it will sound a lot better if I was to take the wave files, drop them in the Pro Tools, buy the beat, drop them in the Pro Tools, and record it as a whole. So a lot of you clients that go to these, recording studios and you get pretty much disappointed is that's what's happening to a lot of your recordings. You wonder why there's a lot of distortion and clipping, or you wonder why the engineer can't create some space between the vocals and the instruments, or he can't get the vocals to sit right inside of the beat. Well, if I can put this into perspective for you, check this out. This is the way I see it. If you can kind of picture this. If you have your instruments, when you drop them into Pro Tools and you create pans and you create space, the beauty about it is that if you want your vocals to be able to sit nice in the mix, besides the whole fact of, like I said, cutting and boosting, sit nice in the mix, what you have to do is mix your vocals and then build the instruments around it. Mix the instruments around it. So if your vocals is nice and balanced, and either or, most people like to do beat first, then mix the vocals into it, or they like to do the vocals first, then mix the beat around it. Me personally, I like to do my vocals, get my vocals nice, balanced, edited, chopped up, and then when I do that, then I like to attack the instruments. And when I attack the instruments, like I said, I cut and boost whatever I need to. I pan whatever I need to be able to help my vocals sit in the middle of my mix. And when they sit in the middle or the top or, under, a little bit under, my mixes still give you the feeling as if the instruments are just surrounding me. So when you listen to them, a lot of my mixes, it's as though the instruments are surrounding my vocals as if they're right around your ears. And that's what I want you guys to hear. That's the same perspective how I see it when I'm actually mixing and editing in Pro Tools, when I have high quality wave files inside of Pro Tools. When I have high quality wave files inside of Pro Tools, I'm able to create that space, and I'm able to take my vocals, mix all these instruments around my vocals, and place my vocals right dead in the center where it sits perfectly. Like I said, over a little bit, under, or dead in the center, it doesn't matter. But my mixes still give that sound and that feeling that the instruments are surrounding my vocals. And that's what you want, because you're creating space. Stuff is not clashing. You're not getting distortion. Stuff is not clipping. You don't have different frequencies, and the instruments and your vocals conflicting with each other because they have their own space where they can sit in. So for all you engineers out there, when you're recording or you want to learn how to be an engineer, try to perfect this. I usually, will try to do videos and stuff like that for you guys, but it's pretty much an understanding concept. Like, you got to be able to use your ears. Some things are visual, but you got to be able to use your ears. Your ears are the most key important thing for you engineers out there. So all you people who trying to get better in engineering and you wonder why you can't create that space, just do what I explained in this video. If certain frequencies, say in the EQ, for instance, it's called sweeping. Say if you take a frequency around 5K, you would boost it and you would sweep. You would move it all over there, all across the spectrum or whatever, with any kind of other frequencies, and anything that's conflicting with it, that's around the same frequencies, you would go to that instrument and you would cut it to be able to create that space, so it's not conflicting with each other, causing a lot of distortion. So engineers, good engineers out there, they know that. Great engineers out there never make that mistake. And for you beginning engineers, it's a learning process. It's called trial and error. I can put up videos for days to show you how to do it, but it's something that you have to use your ears for and be able to know the difference from things that's conflicting with each other that don't have to be, when you can just cut and boost and create some space. Same thing with you producers out there who making beats. It's the same thing, even if you're not mixing vocals. If you got a lot of say, if you stack 3 kicks, that's fine. You can stack 3 kicks if you want, but here's the thing about it. To make the kick sound good, a lot of the kicks might hit in the same frequency range 60 to 100 hertz or something like that, which isn't, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it will cause too much low end. So you will kind of try to create a balance. What I like to do is, say if I take 3 kicks, I like to take 1 kick, cut the low end, cut most of the mids, and put a compressor on there and really just try to focus on the attack. A real nice sharp thump kick. With the next kick, I like to cut out the highs and I like to cut out the lows to give it some mid-range, boost and cut whatever I need to if I have to, and let it sit right there in the middle. That'll be the frequency range, the mid-frequency range for my second kick. For the third kick, I like to have a lot of low end, so I would take the low end, I would go around anywhere, cut anything basically from like 1K, 1K and up. So I would cut all the high frequencies out, the most of the mids out, and I would just have my low end, and I would try to balance these 3 kicks together to give me one ultimate kick. And that's just me personally how I do it. A lot of people do it differently. A lot of people just like to grab 3 different kicks that sound different, layer them up, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But realize that between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz, it's a frequency spectrum. And you want to be able to put different instruments and different vocals or whatever that may be in different parts of the frequency spectrum to be able to create that space. If you got everything all in the middle or all in the low end or all in the high end frequencies range, then it's going to cause nothing but distortion. Or if you do a lot in the low end and not enough in the mids or the high end, then it's obviously going to sound muffled and just sound like a bunch of low end, and then you're going to have frequencies that are canceling each other out and you won't be able to hear it. And you're going to run through, pretty much run into all these different problems. So that's something that you want to try to avoid. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you guys about. For some of you, I know it's going to be real hard to explain. 9 times out of 10, a lot of you guys get exactly what I'm explaining when I'm talking in my video. So I hope that this helped. So next time you guys go out and you want to record a track, good. Go download the beat. But if you're serious about your craft and perfecting your work, then go to that producer. Respect what that producer is doing for you by allowing you to lease his beat. Go to him, get the bread, and just buy the beat. Get the high quality waves, take them to whatever engineer that you go to, and let them mix the beat with these tips, learning to cut and boost and create separation in space so the quality of the mix come out a lot better. Now, a lot of you guys won't take that advice, and in the long run, you're going to see that it's going to hurt you. And I mean, to each his own. You do what you do. But everybody else who want to take this advice and listen to me, understand, I know what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys heard my mixtape. A lot of you guys heard a lot of my tracks, and y'all love the quality for a reason. It's because I'm doing the proper steps. It's not really like a step-by-step basis where you say really wrong or right, but there is ways to do things to get better quality than what other audio engineers or whoever may be doing. It's certain little tips and tricks that professional audio engineers know, and we're all different, but it's something that we all know, tips and tricks to be able to get the best quality mix possible. And that's my goal every time I try to work on somebody's music or songs like that. So keep that in mind. I hope that this video helped you guys out. I didn't mean to take up 20 minutes of your time, but hopefully it was worth it. Hopefully I get better and stop being sick. I'm working on a lot of new stuff. We'll put my link in the description box so you guys can go ahead and download my mixtape. It's for free. To all you people that want to continue to donate money for my mixtape, when you go to bandcamp.com, it's going to ask you to buy now or like to put in a price. If you want the beat for free, just put in zero. I mean, the mixtape for free, just put in 0. If you're willing to support what I do, then you go ahead and put in your price. You name your price: $5, $7, $3, $10, hell, $1,000,000 check if you want to. That's up to you. But yeah, I hope this video helped. It's your boy Chris Lee, aka Tony. Make sure you subscribe, watch my other videos, stay tuned for more.